Hello and welcome to Hour 2 at St. Mary's of Inspiring Teachers. I'm Tavis Beam.
And Danny Hogger.
And we are here with Karen Vigna, one of our presenters here at the St. Mary's Action Research Conference. And Karen, can you tell us what brought you here? What are you presenting today?
I am presenting the communication strategies of veteran teachers. That was my presentation this morning. I graduated St. Mary's last May, so it was interesting to return here this morning and review the research that I published last year.
And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. My research is basically about how teachers develop communication skills, what are the strategies of developing these skills, how 50% of teachers quit within the first 5 years of teaching because of dissatisfaction or challenges in their school communities. And it really comes down to finding mentorship, developing communication strategies, collegiality, listening. I developed that research because I encountered some communication challenges within my own school community that I've been a part of for 13 years. So it was a labor of love, really, to do this research, and I was really happy that this program provided me the place and platform to do it.
It's nice when you have the motivation to make research that can inform and improve your school community.
Yes.
What kind of communication were you looking on specifically to study?
Basically, how teachers develop strategies, how veteran teachers, and veteran is considered 5 years or more, which
Ooh,
that
I'm a
sounds
veteran now.
exactly.
I didn't
If you
know
can
that.
believe it or not, in our field, that is considered a veteran. And so I interviewed 16 teachers ranging from 5 years of teaching to 28 years of teaching. So I got multiple perspectives of their backgrounds, but really it was like, how did they develop these strategies and skills? Did they receive any professional development regarding developing those skills? And how was mentorship in relation to developing those skills?
And I know that I'm going through the changing and reforming and rethinking and research questions. So what kind of adjustments did you make from the initial inception of the idea? What kind of changes did your path take you through?
Oh, thank you for asking that. Yeah, I developed the research because our students in 2014 walked out of school. And this is when I wasn't on the administration. I've served both as an administrator as a teacher. And I said, it was a clear communication breakdown. So that was the impetus for starting the program, developing the research. I was in the master's program here at that time. And then I said, I'm going to do the doctorate program and study communication. So that's how it started. And then there was 4 years of the doctorate program here at St. Mary's. And I knew I was going to study communication, but I wasn't sure what the path was going to take. And over time, I said, I need to talk about skill development strategies. And then initially, when I did my proposal, I thought it was going to be a mixed method study, so quantitative and qualitative. I'm a 10th grade English teacher. There is no way I was going to do quantitative at the end of the day. I was just like, this will be too much. So we changed the methodology, and thank God, because communication is about talking to people and having those more than just a survey. So I wanted to have direct face-to-face conversations with people, and that's how my research changed. And it changed on the spot, and Dr. Rambo said, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, you're going to have to change your methodology. I said, that's fine. Actually, that's going to work better.
Liberating.
Yeah, it was it's totally liberating.
Those changes can be positive.
Absolutely.
They can be it's interesting because you do have your mentor and you're thinking, how will this affect the course of my study and the course of my planning? Because sometimes as teachers, and you mentioned you also have served administrative roles, but we can be islands sometimes. Yeah. Where we are often left to our own devices and to our own thoughts, depending on what kind of school and location and teacher that you are as well. So at first, I was definitely in the mindset of my college has been online through San Diego Christian College, and it's very much work at your own pace. And I'm the kind of self-starter that when the course opens on week 1, well, I'm going to be on week 4 by the end of the day. Like, I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to machine this. And when we got through the 601 course in ethics, no problem. I'm finishing this thing in a couple of weeks, and I'm great. Then we go to qualitative methods and I'm like, okay, it's a little more. All right, that's fine. And now that we're getting into the master's thesis, I'm like, oh, wow, this is deep, and I was actually grateful then to have my mentor step in and make suggestions. And you might want to tweak this. You're going to run into some difficulty if you're running down this lane. And so it's great to have that formation. And I know from friends and colleagues as well that St. Mary's does an exceptional job helping you through these processes. Tell us more about how Mrs. Rambo has helped you through and what kind of advice has she given you that's been guiding and formational for you?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know how I would have gotten through everything I got through without her. I mean, she was really the perfect match for me. My colleagues in the program always said I was like this taskmaster. I was like, boom, 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 just like you know. I'm like, what do I got to get done? Because there's 2 weeks in between when you hear on a Friday night from 5 to 10 p.m. and then all day Saturday the next day. So those and it's 18 weekends a year, which seems, oh my gosh, that's not. It is a long time, and then you're doing so much work in between, and you're having a lot of classes writing in between, and there's a lot of different things you do. And for me, with the dissertation process, Dr. Rambo told me to slow down because it's like this needs to be, and the program really teaches you to be self-reflective in the way you work and the way you communicate and the way you handle things, and slow down and really take this in and soak this in. And I was like, I kept asking her, when am I going to be done? Is this fine yet? And she said, Karen, you still need to edit. You still need to, this needs work. And I realized my own writing skills, even though I am an English teacher and I love writing, there's a way to write a dissertation that's different than writing something else that I would have written. It does. It's a different way to write. I was like, wow, this sounds so dry. She's like, everything you state needs to be backed up with evidence. Yeah. And you can't just make these assumptions or make these statements that are just that you don't have any kind of citing a source for it or any sources for this evidence. So I had to really slow down and take time with my research. And I did it within a year. A lot of people don't, but a lot of people who don't, they end up taking longer, and it becomes this thing where you took all the coursework and you never finished the dissertation.
Right. That's fairly common. Yeah.
Very common. And I was not going to do that because I said I spent a lot of money and 4 years of my life and away from my family. You have to make choices, right? Yeah. On the weekend, you miss things. Yeah. I had a 4-year-old at the time, and when I graduated the program, he was 8. So there were some things I did have to miss, baseball games, and
we know that.
Yeah, I mean, you make those choices. And I had a very supportive husband and mother who helped babysit during those times. And my husband has a very busy job too, so it was a family decision to do the program, and it's a family decision. But at the end of the day, my family was so proud of me and so supportive of me. And when we all in our cohort too, we developed that sense of family as well. We saw deaths of our parents, challenges with our children that we would share, challenges with our lives that we would share, and you grow with each other in 4 years.
It was a special relationship you build with people that you go through a difficult time with. I know I did the master's degree in education at UC Santa Cruz, which was a 12-month program, and it was a lot, and we became very close.
You do. You develop those relationships, and 4 years of staring at each other in this kind of space, for 8 hours, you really get to know one another.
Definitely. And congratulations on reaching this culminating point. So
Thank you.
2 more questions for you then. So what did you learn? What were the results, and did they surprise you?
The results were, I was fortunate. I interviewed teachers who were happy in their jobs. They had great stories to share. What I realized, listening was key to generate understanding, promoting collegiality, like you said. Don't be an isolationist. A lot of teachers avoid the faculty room because it becomes a complaining of like, let's complain about our jobs or let's complain about this, that, or the other. But if breaking bread with each other is important. staying away from social media, as a teacher, learning how to.
Inspiring teachers.
Except for inspiring teachers. Except for, yes, the YouTube. But there's some things like teachers shouldn't be posting certain things on Twitter. And there's some
Right.
things that we can really get responsible, learning that that responsibility when it comes to social media and realizing that it is out there for everyone to see.
And there is a huge positive side as well if you can stick to that. Like
Exactly.
on Twitter, there are so many wonderful teachers that we have interviewed, and we know them exclusively from Twitter and the work that we've done reaching out to them.
But we
Yeah.
didn't know that 6 months ago
Yeah.
because I assumed it was all people who were seeking to self-promote and who were seeking to put an image out. And we found just a wonderful, caring network of people sharing ideas,
Very
research.
genuine.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people out there that want to reach out to seek support for one another. There's that digital citizenship.
Yeah.
We have to teach our students
Right,
too, but we
right.
lead by example.
Yeah.
So a couple of teachers realized early on that they needed to, tone down what they put out there,
Yeah.
or be very conscientious about what they put out there. So I think that was key in learning how to have those direct conversations with families and parents and students about concerns that you have, like providing direct feedback. Don't give an assignment out unless you're going to provide feedback. Students grow through that feedback. So
This sounds like a very wide breadth of what communications mean.
Absolutely.
And you studied it.
yeah, it's interpersonal communication. I focused on face-to-face communication. How to, what they should share at a faculty meeting. A lot of teachers came up with some very interesting things. They're really listening to see what their students are asking of them, And also, when we look at ourselves as administrators, and myself as an administrator, I'm there to serve. We do the in Catholic education where I teach. We're there to serve. We're not there to dictate. We're not there to have these top-down. We're there to serve the community and listen to what the teachers need and listen to what the students need.
There was one book that I read that really helped me in my communication with my students and communication with parents, faculty, everybody. It was how to talk to kids so they will listen and listen to kids so they will
I
talk.
have that book, yes.
Yeah, fantastic
As a
book
parent,
on
yeah.
communicating with children.
Yeah.
And it just teaches the basics of affective listening. And how to make sure that the person you're talking to feels like they're being listened to.
Right. It's to be heard, right?
Yeah.
There's a way to have those, call it fierce conversations, but where you're really listening to someone else and having those sometimes difficult things where you need to share with parents. And it's their children.
Yeah.
It's sensitive topics. It's their child,
And building the relationships with parents early on is so valuable for when you have those difficult conversations. When I did elementary school, I really wanted to take the time during parent conference to hear them and to make sure that they walk out of my room feeling like they're listened to, that I'm somebody that they can go to and know that I'm really listening to their kid as well.
Right.
And if you can just share a little bit of the person that their kid is to them,
Right.
that goes such a long way. Because
Exactly.
they understand that you're not just there for the math and the science. You're there for their child.
The personal growth
Right.
aspect of school. School is a lot about learning those social skills and personal growth and tapping into that.
Most definitely. So, given that this 4-year journey is coming to a new chapter and a new phase,
Yeah.
and you've grown, and it's been a life event, and it's been a lot. With now the way you look at your career and the way that you look at what you're doing, if you had to answer this question, it would be the last question we ask. What do you think your why is for what you do?
Oh, I like that question.
It's Tavis's, but most of the time I ask it before he gets a chance to. So I'll be honest and own that.
Well, okay, great. I appreciate that question. The why is one of the teachers recently said, I've heard them say, now I'm going to be interim principal next year at my school where I've served as an administrator. And they said they want to work at a place that's life-giving, And a lot of times, and whether it's my Catholic background or my Catholic education, I don't know, maybe that is, but I think the students give me life. If I'm looking to get life, I give them life. You know what I mean? I don't think, if you're looking for this to be all about you or all rewarding for you, don't go into teaching. This is teaching. You are there, like I said, to serve. And that's what I'm there to do, is develop those relationships with the kids. They're more likely to be on your side, and you won't have those classroom management issues when you develop those relationships with the parents and the kids. I feel that once they understand, not being their friend, you can be friendly, but not their friend, and they realize that you're there, you're prepared, you're structured, you're going to provide the feedback. You're going to be on top of the communication with the parents if you see something wrong. But I am there. The why is I'm there to serve. This is more than a job. I don't go there for a paycheck. It's vocational. Being a teacher, you're not there to make millions of dollars a year, or be a celebrity or anything like that. It's not about that. It's really, I'm there for them. And they give me life, and I breathe life into my classroom. And I hope that's, at the end of the day, that's what I give them. I give them the life that they need to find that passion and that drive, whether it be in English or not, that they find their true calling. We do a memoir project in my final, and I won't take up too much more of your time, but we read The Glass Castle, and then we do a memoir project at the end of their sophomore year. And I sit and I meet one-on-one with them 3 or 4 times during the quarter. And having those one-to-one conversations and hearing their stories and their journeys, and some of them have such amazing stories and really difficult and challenging lives, and just having someone to hear their stories and understand where they've come from and try and listen to their stories and share that with me, I feel privileged to hear their stories. And that develops the relationship with them, and I feel at the end of the year, we've all grown closer.
Just to have that adult in their life who's sitting there and genuinely just listening with no other agenda.
No other agenda. It's more than just an assignment, like, oh, did you do this or not? And they want to share. It's personal, right? I mean, teenagers like to talk about themselves, but at the same time, this is very cathartic for them as well, which I feel so blessed and honored to hear their journeys.
Well, we feel blessed and honored to hear your journey. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Karen, and you for spending time telling us about your research and giving us a lot to think about and help us improve our daily days as teachers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for hosting this. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, and best of luck. We hope to hear from you again in the future.
I hope so too. Thank you. This is awesome.
We've had a wonderful conversation there with Karen Vigna. Tavis being Danny Hogger here at the 2019 Action Research Conference at St. Mary's College. And it's a real pleasure to be here. We're going to continue on an hour or two and wish Karen a great road for the rest of her day and her weekend. Happy Mother's Day as well.
Thank you very much.